Let me take you on a journey through the Odyssey, a story that has captivated the imagination of humankind for thousands of years. It is the tale of Odysseus, a man as famous for his cunning as he is for his bravery and his harrowing voyage home after the fall of Troy. But this is no ordinary journey. It is a saga of gods and monsters, of trials that test the very limits of endurance, and a hero whose resolve never falters. The aftermath of Troy. The story begins in the aftermath of the Trojan War. The Greeks have triumphed, thanks in large part to Odysseus and his brilliant scheme, the Trojan horse, which brought the city of Troy to its knees. Now, the war-weary hero seeks only one thing: to return home to Ithaca, where his faithful wife Penelope and son Telemachus wait, though they haven't seen him for 20 long years. But the journey home is cursed. The sea god Poseidon, enraged by an insult Odysseus delivers to his son, the Cyclops Polyphemus, vows that Odysseus will never see his home again. Thus begins an odyssey that spans a decade, full of dangers that would break any ordinary man, but not Odysseus. Telemachus's search for his father. While Odysseus battles the elements and the wrath of the gods, his son Telemachus faces trials of his own. Ithaca is overrun with suitors, arrogant and greedy men who believe Odysseus is dead and seek to marry Penelope, claiming the throne for themselves. For years, Penelope has cleverly delayed them, promising to choose a new husband once she finishes weaving a burial shroud for Odysseus's father. But every night she unravels what she wove by day. Telemachus, now a young man, is frustrated and uncertain. With the encouragement of the goddess Athena, who has always favoured Odysseus, Telemachus embarks on his own journey across the Greek world, searching for news of his father. He meets with the great heroes of the war, Menelaus, the king of Sparta, and Nestor, the wise king of Pylos, but no one knows Odysseus's fate. Though Telemachus returns home empty-handed, his journey marks his coming of age as he prepares for the great showdown that will come. Odysseus and the Lotus Eaters. Meanwhile, far across the seas, Odysseus and his men have already encountered their first strange land, the island of the Lotus Eaters. This seems a peaceful place, where the inhabitants offer sweet, intoxicating fruit to anyone who visits. But there's a dark side. Those who eat the lotus forget everything: their homes, their families, even their desire to return home. Odysseus, ever watchful, realizes the danger in time. Though some of his men have already fallen under the spell of the lotus, he forces them back to the ships, dragging them away from the land of oblivion. They sail off again, Odysseus's mind still sharp, his will unshaken. The Cyclops, cunning versus brute force. Next, the crew lands on the island of the Cyclops, a race of gigantic one-eyed monsters. They find a cave stocked with food, and the men greedily feast, unaware that the cave belongs to the fearsome Polyphemus, son of Poseidon. When Polyphemus returns, he traps them in the cave and begins to devour them one by one. Odysseus knows that brute force won't save them. Polyphemus is too strong. Instead, he hatches a plan. When the Cyclops asks his name, Odysseus cunningly replies, "Nobody." That night, after Polyphemus falls into a drunken sleep, Odysseus and his men drive a sharp, heated stake into the Cyclops' single eye, blinding him. In his agony, Polyphemus cries out for help, but when the other Cyclops ask who is attacking him, Polyphemus can only say, "Nobody is hurting me." Trapped by Odysseus' clever trick, they leave him to suffer alone. The next morning, Odysseus and his men escape by clinging to the bellies of Polyphemus' sheep, slipping out of the cave undetected. But as they sail away, Odysseus' pride gets the better of him. He shouts his true name back to Polyphemus, taunting the Cyclops. In his fury, Polyphemus calls upon Poseidon to curse Odysseus, ensuring that he will wander the seas for years to come. The enchantress Circe and the land of the dead. As they continue their journey, Odysseus and his crew come upon the island of Aiaia, home to the powerful sorceress Circe. She welcomes the men, but with treachery. Using a potion, she turns them into pigs, except for Odysseus, who has been warned by the messenger god Hermes. Armed with a magical herb to protect himself, Odysseus confronts Circe and forces her to turn his men back into humans. Strangely, Circe becomes an ally, offering Odysseus crucial advice. To reach home, she tells him, he must first journey to the land of the dead and consult the spirit of the blind prophet Treacherous. In the underworld, Odysseus speaks with the ghost of his mother, who died of grief waiting for him, and other fallen heroes, like Achilles and Agamemnon. Tiresias warns him of the dangers still ahead and tells him how to appease the gods, the Sirens, Scylla and Charybdis. On Circe's advice, Odysseus prepares his men for the Sirens, beautiful creatures whose song lures sailors to their deaths. Determined to hear the song but not fall victim to its power, Odysseus orders his men to plug their ears with beeswax, while he has himself lashed to the mast. As they sail past, the Sirens' song fills the air, promising wisdom and secrets of the world. Odysseus struggles to break free, but his men, deaf to the song, row on, saving them all. But soon they must face the twin dangers of Scylla and Charybdis, two monsters lurking on either side of a narrow strait. Scylla is a six-headed beast who plucks sailors from their ships, while Charybdis is a massive whirlpool that swallows ships whole. Odysseus knows that he must choose between the two. He steers closer to Scylla, sacrificing 6 of his men to her ravenous jaws, but saving the ship from Charybdis. The island of the sun god. Finally, Odysseus and his men land on the island of the sun god Helios, where they have been warned not to touch the sacred cattle. But despite Odysseus's orders, his men, driven by hunger, slaughter the cattle while he sleeps. The gods are outraged. As punishment, Zeus strikes their ship with a thunderbolt, killing all but Odysseus. Alone he drifts at sea until he washes up on the island of Ogygia, where the beautiful nymph Calypso holds him captive for 7 long years, offering him immortality if he stays. The final journey home. At last, the gods take pity on Odysseus. Hermes orders Calypso to release him, and she reluctantly obeys. After building a raft, Odysseus sets sail once more, only to be shipwrecked again by Poseidon's storms. Exhausted and alone, he washes up on the shores of Phaeacia, where the princess Nausicaa finds him. The Phaeacians, moved by his tale of woe, offer him safe passage to Ithaca. When Odysseus finally sets foot on his homeland, it is not a triumphant return. Disguised as a beggar by Athena, he enters his own palace in secret, where the suitors continue their debauchery. But the time for subtlety is over. In a dramatic contest, Penelope challenges the suitors to string Odysseus's great bow and shoot an arrow through 12 axe heads. None can do it, except the disguised Odysseus, who effortlessly completes the task. Revealing himself at last, he and Telemachus slaughter the suitors in a bloody reckoning. Odysseus is finally home. But his journey is not just one of physical endurance. It is a testament to the power of cleverness, loyalty, and unyielding hope. The Odyssey reminds us that the road home may be long and full of trials, but with courage and cunning, it is one that can be conquered.